I grew up in USAID. My dad worked for USAID. So my dad was an agronomist. So he was a soil scientist and he would go to countries like Chad. We lived in Mauritania, for example. The work that he would do is to try to um, teach some of the farmers. He would, test the soil and say, these are some of the compounds that we can add to the soil so that you can grow crop. Um, and the purpose of it was to show this is what America is doing for this country. It showed that the United States was benevolent and kind and wanted to do the right thing. But underneath it all, there were a lot of people who worked for USAID who were known as information officers. What is an information officer? They gather intelligence. They don't do it by spying and all of that. They get to know people. So they build relationships with people in that country so that they can say, well, we know that there's this tribe out here that is wants to do this thing. We know that there's going to be a water issue over here. We know that there's a pandemic breaking out potentially over here. And so they can deal with it, but they also build those relationships so that if there's somebody coming up into power who is going to be anti-American, they can manipulate, right? Which is the United States does. And sometimes it goes over the line. And again, we come back to there's like two ways to message things. There's what I just explained, which was USAID is a benefit to the United States. Here's how. Here's how it's going to benefit you personally. And then there's another argument that can be made that USAID is out there helping people to not starve, to not get ill, to not fall under soldiers coming at them with machetes. I think there are two ways of looking at a problem. How does it affect me? And then how does it affect other people? And I don't think that the news does a good enough job of talking about both. The ultimate difference is that people who vote for Trump often see things in terms of how is this going to affect me, which is a perfectly valid way of looking at the world. And I think people who vote for, Kamala were like, how can I show that I care about other people? There's such a marketing messaging problem that we have that we're not recognizing how those two things can be played against each other. Because I know that you're not somebody who's like, I don't care about what happens to other people. And I'm somebody who does care about what happens to me too. I want to know how it's going to affect me personally. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, we're not connecting those two things.